Hello, I am Mrunal Pathak. Today we will discuss about the few protocols: Internet Protocol, Transmission Control Protocol, and User Datagram Protocol, known as an TCP and UDP. So first of all, we will take the overview of Internet Protocol. So what is the Internet Protocol? So Internet Protocol is a network protocol which is used for the communication between sender and receiver. It is a set of rules that direct you how data sends or transmit to an intended recipient via the local network across the subnets or even the internet. For example, where we are going to be use the internet protocol such as ordering the food from your favorite hotel on a Swiggy using a website. Now here we are going to be use a network protocol for a communication over the internet where we are sending the data from your web browser to the website. So before taking the introduction of TCP and UDP protocol, we will just take the overview of a OSI network model. This OSI is an open system interconnection network model which have a 7 layers. So this is a standard framework where there are the 7 layers. So if we go from bottom up to top down top approach, at the bottom up there is a first layer which is a physical layer. Above physical layer, second layer is a data link layer, third one is a network layer, fourth is a transport layer, fifth one is a session layer, sixth is a presentation layer, and at the topmost seventh layer which is a application layer. So just take the overview what are the functionalities provided by all these 7 layers. So first one is at the bottom there is a physical layer. So this is the lowest layer of OSI model which is concerned with electrically or optically transmitting of a raw unstructured data bits across the network from the physical layer of a sending device to the physical layer of the receiving device. So above physical layer there is a data link layer. So at the data link layer, directly connected nodes are used to perform node to node data transfer where data is packaged into the frames. Data link layer is also responsible of the correction of errors which are occurred at a physical layer. So third layer is a network layer which lies above the data link layer. So network layer is responsible for receiving the frames from the data link layer and delivering them to their intended destinations among based on the addresses contained inside the frames. So so the network layer finds the destination by using the logical address such as an IP address known as an internet protocol address. So above network layer there is a fourth layer which is a transport layer. So this transport layer manages the delivery and error checking of data packets. It also regulates the size, sequencing and ultimately transfer of a data between sender and receiver. One of the most common example of a transport layer is a TCP or transmission control protocol. Fifth layer is a session layer. So the session layer controls the conversation between different computers or machine. A session or connection between the machine is set up, managed and terminated at this layer. So session layer service also include authentication and reconnection or re-establishment of the connection between sender and receiver. Sixth layer is a presentation layer which is above the session layer. So the presentation layer formats or translate data from the application layer based on the syntax or semantics that the application accepts. Because of this, it at times also called as a syntax layer. So this layer can also handle the encryption and decryption required by the application layer. So seventh topmost layer is the application layer. At this layer, both end user and application layer interact directly with the software application. This layer sees network services provided to the end user application such as a web browser or Office 365. The application layer identifies the communication patterns, resource availability and synchronizes the communication between sender and receiver. So before starting with TCP and UDP protocol, we'll just see where this protocol lies in our 7-layer protocol architecture. So in this figure, if you observe that internet protocol, which is at an internet layer, and above this at a transport layer, there are the two protocols. One is a user datagram protocol, which provide the unreliable connection, less communication, and at the same time another protocol at a transport layer, which is a transmission or transport control protocol, which provide the reliable connection oriented communication. So we'll study about the TCP and UDP protocol. First we'll study about the TCP protocol. So TCP is nothing but the transmission control protocol. TCP and UDP are the two transport protocol that falls within the transport layer in a OSI model architecture. Now first see about the TCP. So you can link the TCP communication to your telephone communication, where first before starting the communication, connection is going to be established between caller and callee, where we can say that sender and receiver. So after establishing the connection between caller and callee, then only we can start the communication high and low. So there is a both way communication in a TCP. So we are set up the connection between sender and receiver first by dialing the number, and once calling the party answer, you have both way communication channels. Whenever your communication ends, you just keeping the receiver, it means that you disconnect the connection, that means connection is going to be end. So TCP is known as an connection oriented protocol, as there is a connection establishment before the communication between sender and receiver. It also provides the facility like error recovery and retransmission. That's why TCP is also known as an reliable communication protocol. In TCP, communication is going to be performed with the help of a three-way handshake protocol, which is used between sender and receiver. So in first figure, if you observe that how the connection is going to be established between sender and receiver with the help of a three-way handshake protocol. So there are the three messages which are going to be used to perform the communication. First of all, synchronization message sent from sender to receiver. So receiver will acknowledge that message, and after getting the acknowledgement, sender will start the communication. So it is a connection oriented communication. In second figure, how the data transmission is going to be performed in a TCP protocol, just overview is given here. For example, if sender want to send any message, so first of all that message is going to be divided into the blocks. Here we are assuming that the message is going to be divided into the 4 blocks, which is commonly known as an packets. So these 4 blocks are going to be sent by sender to the receiver. Remember that in TCP protocol, it is mandatory that the order in which you send the packets or blocks, in the same order it should be received by the receiver. That means order is going to be maintained in a TCP communication. If there is any loss of block or loss of packets during the communication, so in that case receiver will acknowledge to the sender, yes, the particular packet or block is missed. So sender will again resend that particular packets. So in figure, if you observe that message is going to be divided into the 4 blocks. So during communication, block 3 is missed, or we assume that block 3 is lost. So in that case, sender will again retransmit that block 3, or you can say packet 3. So this is the error recovery and retransmission communication. That's why we are saying that TCP is a reliable communication. So what are the advantages of TCP communication? So it provides you the reliable communication with the help of error recovery and retransmission facility. So we can illustrate the TCP communication in a simplest way with the help of this figure. For example, here we assume that host A is a sender and host B is a receiver. Host A send some message. Yes, for example, I am sending the data. So host B will acknowledge him that yes, error occurred, please resend the data. So, so if there will be any error during the communication, so again host A will reply back, it will send that loss of packet, the packet which is lost, and at the same time it will acknowledge by sending that packet, okay, I am retransmitting the data. So both acknowledgement and retransmission is going to be performed. So after getting the message without any error, host B will again acknowledge to host A, yes, data received correctly. So this is the TCP communication model. So what are the advantages of TCP and disadvantages of TCP? We'll just list down it. So the advantages of TCPs are it helps you to establish or set up the connection between different types of computers. It operates independently of the operating system. It supports many routing protocol and enable the internetworking between the organization. TCP IP model has highly scalable client server architecture. It can operate independently. At the same time, there are few disadvantages of TCP communication. You cannot use for a broadcast or multicast communication. Replacing protocol in TCP IP is not easy. It does not offer a clear separation from its services, interfaces and protocols. So where we can use the TCP? So the TCP communication is going to be used for an application where high reliability is required without less concern of time, such as World Wide Web, secure shell, file transfer protocol and email communication. So we just summarize TCP and UDP communication or with the help of TCP and UDP protocol. So we have explored the difference between TCP and UDP protocol with the help of a figure, advantages and disadvantages. TCP is a connection oriented protocol and provide the reliable communication as it provide error correction and retransmission facility. UDP is a very simple connectionless real-time transfer protocol that offers a fast communication process than the TCP, but it is unreliable because error recovery and retransmission facility is not provided by the UDP, and it is not supported by any acknowledgement process of a data receiving and sending. However, both the protocol have their own advantages and disadvantages. So depending on the applications and significance, we can select either we'll use the TCP protocol or we will go for the UDP protocol. Thank you very much. So the comparison with respect to different parameters we will see in next session. Thank you.